prepared a relatively about 20 minutes presentation, but with the instruction of the chairman, I'll certainly confine it to 15 minutes. And because it helps me, as Dr. Bukai and Dr. Tanveer has already set the ground, in which I would strictly focus myself on the FMCT and not explain the surrounding geostrategic and international environment which Pakistan has to take into account. The Fissile Material Court of Treaty is a proposed multilateral treaty to prohibit future production of fissile material for nuclear weapons. The treaty and its various provisions has not yet been agreed. It is currently on the agenda of the CD, whose negotiations are allegedly stalled due to Pakistan's objections. In 1993, Russia concluded an arrangement. Mr. Sir, you have upset my whole thing that you have given to me. No, please go back to it. I'll take it from there. Yeah. Okay, next. In 1993, Russia concluded an arrangement with the United States of America to megatons. I think this is not a slide number 2, is it?
I think introduction should be. Introduction should be the first page.
Yeah, introduction should be the first page. Okay, go next. Okay. An agreement with the United States known as megaton to megawatts, and declared excess HEU of 500 tons for its military uses, and designated for downbleeding the LEU to produce fuel for US civilian reactors in 1995, and the program ended in 2001. In 1996, next, the United States declared more than 370 tons of HEU as excess to its weapons requirement. In the second declaration made in 2005, the United States pledged to remove up to 200 tons of HEU from further use as fissile material in the US nuclear weapons. The bulk of this material, 160 tons, was designated for use in naval propulsion reactors. My basic purpose to mention these two declarations is that the United States of America and the Soviet Union, because of their strategic arms limitation talks and START talks, have ceased production of fissile material already in 1992-93. And they have declared excess stockpiles. So because they were already has ceased production of fissile material, later on they wanted to make it a global policy that the material be seized for all countries of the world. So it was out of their necessity that an agreement is being worked out. On 27 September 1993, in his speech before the UN General Assembly, Clinton called for a multilateral convention banning the production of fissile material for nuclear explosives outside international safeguards. Then there's a mention of the UN General Assembly resolution by Dr. Tanveer Ahmed Khan for a I repeat, it is his words, but I have worked out last night. It's a non-discriminatory, multilateral, and effectively verifiable treaty banning the production of fissile material, something from which the CD is nowadays deviating, and Pakistan is insisting. On March 23, in I think 2000, on March 1995, the CD agreed to establish a committee to negotiate a non-discriminatory, multilateral, and effectively verifiable treaty banning production of fissile material for nuclear weapons or other nuclear devices. However, substantive negotiations have never taken place. From 1994 to 6, the emphasis of international non-proliferation remained focused on CTBT, and FMCT was relegated to a secondary position. The CTBT could not enter into force because of the US Congress' refusal to ratify, lack of requisite member states to ratify it, and disappointment of its principal opponents to get India, Pakistan, and Israel into its orbit. It restarted the negotiation, the FMCT restarted in 2003. I want to have you a glimpse of the P5 military access plutonium, and HU in 2003. When the negotiation for the FMCC started, this was the excess material in terms of plutonium as well as HU in the hands of the P5. So that is a great stimulus for them to ask for a fissile material freeze to the rest of the T3 as well. Kindly, if you have, kindly look into it. Next, the global stockpiles of HU and PU in 2007. You can have a quick look. United States 250. I don't have to read it. Please have it yourself. India has 1.3 as HU. This is in metric tons. You can see that. And compared with India and Pakistan, you can see Pakistan has a slight edge at that time in 2007 in highly enriched uranium, but it has tremendously behind India in plutonium and the rest of the world. Then there are disparities in 2011. I think this is the most latest information that we have. No, please go back. This is not the one. Yeah, this is it. Go next. And next. And next. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. These are the disparities in 2011 that United States have 390 metric tons, Russia has 616, UK has 111.7, France has 30 tons, China 16, India 2, Pakistan 2.75, and Israel 0.3. The point here I want to highlight is that India has catched Pakistan very fastly in terms of highly enriched uranium. Pakistan used to be well ahead of India, but today the gap is only 0.75. India has come close to Pakistan on HU, which was Pakistan's great advantage, which has been no bridge. The next is the disparities in military plutonium, on which India has certainly, as I mentioned before, an advantage against Pakistan. So these are the disparities. We should have a good look, which the international community want to freeze at this time by having the FMCT concluded. And Pakistan, I'll come to Pakistan's policy later on the subject. In 2004, the United States announced its opposition to the inclusion of a verification mechanism in the treaty on grounds that the treaty could not be effectively verified. On November 4, 2004, the United States cast a sole negative vote in the first committee of the UN General Assembly against resolution calling for negotiations of an international verifiable treaty. The Bush administration supported a treaty but advocated an ad hoc system of verification wherein states would monitor the compliance of other states through their own national intelligence mechanism and not IAEA inspections. This is very clearly expressed by the United States. In 2009, US President Barack Obama reversed the US position on verification and proposed to negotiate a new treaty that verifiably ends the production of fissile material intended for use in nuclear weapons. On May 29, the CD agreed to establish an